Robert, at one point, now years back, your life was headed in the wrong direction. Can you tell us what was going on and how did you change it?
Well, I kind of grew up in an environment that was very bad. The name of the project that we were raised in was called Dodge City Projects. I mean, life as I knew it was perfectly fine until my mom and my stepdad got a divorce, and we ended up moving into the projects. And it was there that my mom got addicted to drugs, and things was just it was hard growing up. Really didn't have a lot of food in the refrigerator. Mom cared kind of more about drugs, but again, I understand the severity of addiction and that it's a sickness and a disease now that I'm grown. But back then I didn't understand. So, going to school, not really having a lot of things being talked about, never having, food to eat in the refrigerator and things of that nature. That was kind of my day to day. But then one day when we came home, when I was leaving school, I got to the top of the hill, and when I, descended upon my apartment, I kind of noticed that all of our stuff was sitting on the side of the road. And then it was in that moment that things kind of changed for me as a little boy. I kind of turned into a man. I've already been through a lot, and then seeing that and then not having a home was kind of like, oh man. So I walked to my grandma's house. And then from then on, I was kind of on my own, just kind of doing my own thing. I really despised authority, didn't really want to listen to people and things of that nature. So, I dropped out of school, and I kind of was a rebel, a rebel with the cause, I guess, because, when you experience such trauma and lack that I've experienced, then, money becomes your motivation. That one thing that you need that can change your situation and circumstances will be money. And so I just learned how to sell drugs and learned how to break the law. I joined the gang, and I wanted to be successful by all means, whether it was the right way or the wrong way. And so I ended up becoming big in the drug game. I ended up using drugs as well. And I got real big in the drug distribution gang, and I ended up going to federal prison. And it was there I did 5 years. And like I tell people, it was at rock bottom that I found my purpose, and that's when I was released.
So when you came out, how were things different and how did you find your way?
Yeah, when I got out, I just kind of knew, my dad died in prison when I was 16. And so that reality coupled with, me being a father and a husband at the time, I know I didn't want my legacy to be that of my father's. And so I made sure that I crafted a plan and strategy so that when I was released, that I could be successful. All right. And I knew I was a felon, so I couldn't go get a regular job. So I knew that entrepreneurship was what I needed, and I needed to go into that field in order to be successful and provide. So with me getting out, I ended up going and getting a job, busting tables, and I worked there for a year. But when they gave me a 10-cent raise, I knew it wasn't sustainable for me to stay there. And so I left, and I started my cleaning company, Imperial Cleaning Systems.
And today you are a successful business person in the Nashville area.
Yes, I am. I'm the CEO of Imperial Cleaning Systems. I'm also a community leader and entrepreneur. I've created several different businesses, the Lab Nashville being one of them, and iStudio Nashville. One was a co-working space. The latter is iStudio Nashville. It's a event space and office suites. And herein lies my office as well. Also, because it's a big space, I have a classroom and a conference room. The classroom is used to teach kids through my nonprofit Impact Youth Outreach.
So you're a big believer in second chances.
I am definitely a believer in second chances. I'm a Christian, and so all of the notable men in the Bible God didn't use the typical people to accomplish his goals and purposes on this earth. He always used the people that had a little that were rough around the edges. He did, and to accomplish some of his biggest goals, as he used those people. And one thing he always talks about is grace and mercy, and it was only through that I was able to be here and do the things that I'm doing. And so with that, we're stewards of our experiences, right? So we think that we go through things solely for our benefit, but it's also for the benefit of others, people we know that's around us, and also for people we don't know. And so I wanted to make sure that I used all of my experiences in life to affect change in the community in which I live, whether it be an at-risk teen through my nonprofit, or a returning citizen through the Dream Foundation and the Dream Initiative that we help them, whether it be me helping them get their rights restored, helping them find gainful employment through our workforce development program, whatever we have to do. I've kind of made that my mission in life.
And two pretty incredible things have happened for you. One was a couple of years back when you got a pardon from the governor of Tennessee, and recently you received a presidential pardon. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal moment. The first one, with me getting out, I knew I wanted to pick up the pieces to my life, and at some point, I wanted to find some normalcy in being a returning citizen, which is hard because there's a negative stigma that comes along with a person who's been to prison. And so, after I built my company and provided jobs for the community, I was like, you know what, let me try to get my rights restored. So then I got my voting rights restored. And then I said, you know what, let me try and see if the governor of Tennessee will pardon me. And I went through the process. Lo and behold, thank God, he found in his heart to pardon me. And then after the state pardon, I said, well, you know what? Let me try for the federal pardon. Let me petition the president to see if he will pardon me. And I'm the first person in history to do this, to receive both a state and federal pardon in 2 years. And so the process was strenuous. It was frustrating. At moments I wanted to give up because I just didn't see it happening. But my faith was stayed strong, and I stayed through the process, and God blessed me, and here I am today, a redeemed man. I'm restored, and I'm an example to what hard work and faith and allowing God to use you the benefits of that.
So when you talk to young people in the community, when, just chatting offhand, no formal meeting, just, kind of on the side and so forth, how do you share this with them, what you've been through and, to give them some nuggets of encouragement? What do you tell them?
I think relatability is key. And so I make sure that I'm always transparent and open with the kids because, I don't believe in sugarcoating anything. Why? I mean, we live in a real world. These kids have experienced real trauma. So it's important for me to tell them what they already know, opposed to, I don't think we give our kids enough credit in that they're resilient and they're smart. And so I'm just a transparent person. I just love to be honest with them about things because they understand that. And so I just tell them no matter what you've been through, no matter the mistakes you've made, that you can go forth, you can overcome those mistakes and get your life back on track. Don't let nobody speak negativity into your life. I tell them to be more optimistic, but also to take responsibility for their actions as well. I say it's a glorious thing to take responsibility for something. It's okay to make a mistake, own it, and move forward. So those are some of the things I share with these kids.
You wrote a book called The Journey Back to Now, which I understand is still available. It's been published. Tell us about that and where people could get it.
Yeah, The Journey Back to Now was a book about my life. It's essentially the journey that it took to get to the person I am today. So it's the journey back to the person God intended for me to be. And it's on Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes and Noble. It's a great read. It's a best-selling book. And it's essentially about my life and my journey and becoming who God intended for me to be. And I'm very proud of that work, and a lot of programs use it for case studies around the country.
All right. Robert, we sure appreciate your sharing with us.
No problem. I really appreciate y'all having me. God bless everyone. I urge everyone to look me up, get involved, and let's stay connected. But thank you so much for having me.